I moved way too much. I think we could have just stopped there. That was beautiful. Beautiful. So thank you for having me. I hope today what we can really focus on is prayer and encouragement and a call to action. We're talking about some of the ministries, and as moms and as women, we have so much power to encourage those around us, and really that's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to start with sharing a little bit about my story, because I think many of you in the room would probably relate to some of it, or you know someone who can. I always knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was going to be a mom. Knew it, planned it. I had a great example in my mom. I wanted to be just like her. So come high school, they want you to take these tests and college entrance exams and all this stuff. I didn't need it. I didn't need a plan B. I was going to be a mom. I was going to stay home and raise my children. End of story. At 18, I married my high school sweetheart, and I was well on my way to my plan. 5 years later, my first son, Tristan, was born. 2 years after that, my daughter, Shyla. 2 years after that, my daughter, Brenna. I was living my best life. I was staying home. I was homeschooling. I loved being a mom. I loved being a wife. 15 years into my marriage, my then husband decided he would prefer to go in a different direction. And I felt like the rug had been just pulled right out from under me. My whole world turned upside down. And now I had a new normal. I didn't have much education. I hadn't worked since I was a teenager. And I had to provide for 3 small children. So that became my new normal. I went back to work. I went back to college. I went to trade school, began to provide for my kids. And let me tell you, I was living my best life. Your best life happens where you are, not where you thought you would be. When I talk to my children about that season in our life, we lived in a tiny little house in a kind of shady part of town. They don't talk about what they didn't have. They have good, positive memories. So life happens within our circumstances, and take ownership of that. Wherever you are is where you're meant to be right now. Well, many years of doing that and raising my children alone, I met somebody wonderful and started a whole new type of life, which is called blended family life. And that's a whole new world. We took 2 different families, 2 different parents, 2 different sets of rules, put us all in one home and said, okay, now you're a family. We took 5 kids on our honeymoon. Now it's kind of a blur, so I can't tell you if it was a good idea or not. It's all, but we wanted our kids to know that we were a family. It was harder than we anticipated, and yet more wonderful than I ever would have expected. We're many years down the road, and just to share today, I have my daughter Shyla, my second born, my third born Brenna, and my stepdaughter Katie, all here with me, all so much a part of my heart and my life. So to also share this season of my life, at one time, all 5 were teenagers. So teenagers are a whole aspect of motherhood that requires prayer. And so life has taken me in many different directions. And I've learned so much along the way, and there's so much to learn. But what I want to share with you today, depending on where you are, is some encouragement in the season you're in. Because as moms, we might have all had a bit of a unique journey, but we've all gone through the same seasons on our way. So I'd like to talk today, if you are in the room and if you're a single mom or a divorced mom, my heart just goes out to you. This is a hard road. You're doing it all on your own. You're working, you're raising your kids, you're doing the homework, you're doing the disciplining. There's no one to talk about the details. Psalm 147:3. He heals the broken hearts and binds up their wounds. And he does. I am here to tell you that if you are facing that in your life, he will heal your heart. I'm sharing from a healed heart with a new love, but I can tell you I had a healed heart before I had a new love. God will restore. And how do we minister to these moms? These are the moms who need the practical help. So if you know a single mom, these are the moms who need someone to help with their yard. Or maybe they need to borrow your husband. Go over for a bit and help hang some pictures or fix that faucet. Practical help. These are the moms that could use a meal once in a while because they're just worn. We have our tired moms. That pretty much all of us, but whether you're working, whether you're at home, when I think of our tired moms, I think of the moms with little kids where you just want to shower or go to the bathroom without fingers under the door. You're just tired. You're not sleeping through the night. You're just tired. And then you go to the next stage of that young children, which is where you feel like a taxi cab driver. You're in the car all the time. School pickup line, school drop off line, sports. You're just tired. Exodus 33:14. The Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. I encourage you, moms, find your rest in him. He's the only one who can provide it in this season. But how do we help? How do we as moms who are not in that season, who've moved through it, how do we encourage those in it? For our new moms, they really would just like to take a shower. So maybe offer to go over and hold their baby while they do. Because sometimes, if we think back to that time when our kids were little, we didn't always want them away from us. But sometimes we just needed that minute. So maybe go over, hold their baby for them. For the moms that are in the car all the time, that car line takes a long time. You can get a meal, a dessert, have a conversation, and you're still not through the car line. So go ride with them. Go be a mom in these middle years. Take the time to say, hey, I'll ride with you when you're picking up your kids, and let's just have some time to talk. Let's also, I am so guilty of this. I remember when my kids were small, and I had 3 small children in a shopping cart and a buggy behind me for groceries, kids screaming over Cheerios, they're eating the grapes you haven't paid for, they're crying about the toy in the checkout aisle, and some well-meaning person would stop me and say, enjoy these days, they go too fast. And I would think, I so hope so, I so hope so. Now we know they go too fast. We do know that. And I am now that mom stopping those old ladies and saying, oh, just enjoy this minute. But maybe instead, we could remind those moms that they're not going to regret these moments. These days are going to go fast, and it's not always going to be this hard. You will get to go to the grocery store again, but you're not going to regret these moments. You're doing a great job. These moms need to hear that. They need that encouragement that we can give them. We have weary moms. Weary moms, I think, just bone tired. I think teen moms fall in this category. I will tell you as a mother, I have now teens and adults, and so kind of coming through this stage, but I have never prayed more. That nothing brings you to your knees as much because you're worried about your children. You can't wait for them to drive. When you're driving them all over creation and you just think, man, I cannot wait for them to drive. And then you have 4 drivers in the house. You're paying insurance. But you're also, every time they leave the house, you're worried about the weather. You're worried if it's going to rain. You're worried about their choices. You just want them safe. And so you're tired and you're weary and you're worried. This is where prayer is your salvation. And it's not because it's going to change your circumstances, but it's going to give you peace within your circumstances. I will share that when your teenager's upset with you because of a decision you've made and you pray about it, they still tend to stay upset with you. But you have a peace within your decision. And sometimes you begin to see where you could do things differently because God's really good like that. So I want to encourage you, pray. Isaiah 40:31, but those that hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Weary moms, that's for us. Moms of special needs children. Many of us in this room face that. My son, in his teen years, was diagnosed with autism. And there's a grieving process to a child who isn't going to be what you thought. And there's a beautiful acceptance when you realize they're exactly who they're meant to be. But we worry. We lay awake at night and we worry. Blended families. There's so much that just causes us to worry and to pray and to wonder. So how do we, as moms, help this segment? We pray for them. Practically, that's what they need. These moms who are weary, they need our prayers through this season of their life. Also, they could use a cup of coffee. So if you want to just take that time to hear them out, they could use that. Now, many of us in this room are moms maybe looking for your next season. You've been through all these seasons. So now, what's next? I know for me now, I have 3 adult children, one who is heading that way. She thinks quicker than I think, but she's heading that way. And then I still have a younger teen. And you've spent your whole life raising your kids. And you start to realize that it's looking a little different. They're gone more than they're home. They're busy. They don't need you quite the same. Maybe they have all left home. My mom tells me grandkids are the reward for teenagers, but I'm not there yet, so I don't know. Not that I'm hinting. I'm just saying. But maybe you're in that season. Maybe you have grandkids, or maybe your grandkids have grown, and you're wondering, in this season of womanhood, motherhood, what does it look like? Philippians 4:9. The things you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. I encourage you to find your passion and to find the moms who are not in the season you're in yet, and encourage them and mentor them, because they need you. They need to know what the end of the tunnel looks like, because right now all they can see is the middle. For me in this season, God has laid on my heart teen moms. That's a season I haven't walked through, but having teenage girls, I've gotten a glimpse into the lives of some of their friends. What a difficult season of life that is. We have these young moms who chosen to keep their babies, and then they're doing it on their own. They're facing the financial struggles that we all tend to face. Many of them don't finish high school. Many of them don't have family support. Oftentimes they don't have anyone else in their life to help them through it. They need our help. They need to know that we're proud of them, that we love them, that we support them. They need it practically. They need our resources, but they also need what we've learned because of our mistakes. They need to know what maybe that baby's cry means, or all those things that we learn through watching other moms. And some of them don't have that because they've been left to do this on their own. That may not be your calling, but God has laid something on your heart. And I want to encourage you, if you are in the season of life where you've learned a lot, you've got a lot to teach those of us who are still going through this journey. I wanted to just close with just a reminder that no matter your season, you are doing a great job. You are the mother you are meant to be. When you're at the bottom and your self-esteem is gone, open up this paper, take it out and read along. Pretend that you've been voted Mother of the Year, and mothers of the world are giving you a cheer. Sit down and just imagine, savor their applause for all your selfless hours in a worthy cause. Then stand and give a speech that they all long to hear. Tell them that you're honored to be Mother of the Year. And when your speech is over and reality comes back, and you see those running noses and that mile-high laundry stack, don't put on self-pity, that familiar way to feel. For the cheering you've imagined is not too far from real. For there are many cheering, and there is much applause, for your selfless hours is a worthy cause. Concourses of angels and loved ones yet unknown are watching and applauding from a heavenly home. If you listen closely, you may faintly hear pure applause from heaven for you, Mother of the Year. So wear those smiles proudly. You are being recognized. Every second, every hour, you are loved in heaven's eyes. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.